guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. It's Monday again. I hope everybody have a great weekend. I have actually a very interesting weekend. That's why I thought I want to talk to you guys about my adventurous weekend. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I am an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Let me describe why this weekend is somewhat interesting for me. A friend's mom being suffer through cancer for quite some time now, and then she just passed away beginning of this week, right? So we all know it's being prolonged, struggling, it's a moment of time, people waiting, doctor giving up the cancer, and then, people are expecting this, but it's not without suffering, right? So, see, when people alive, I may or may not be able to check on it regularly, but when people dead, they kind of in my territory, right? So knowing my friends and their family been going through quite a lot, so when I heard the news, what I did is I checked on the friend's mom and make sure she's okay, right? And then I did a quick check, but later on, because there are a lot of things going on, there's a funeral and there's all kind of thing, and knowing is kind of a bit overwhelmed for my friends, I offered to do the presentation, which is like the slideshow presentation, a tribute for the mother, right? So I guess because I was kind of taking on the project, and with me, I'm very good at blocking all channel, right? But since I'm taking on the project, I will have to somewhat connect, because I'm looking at someone's picture all the time, right? And you all know sometimes you just a sentence I can connect with you already, let alone I'm staring at your picture all the time. So basically that's what happened to me. So when I scanning through the picture, watching through the picture and all that, I start to connect with a mom, right? Just give you a little bit background. This lady is very somewhat very much like my mother-in-law, not like extreme, but somewhat alike. So in when we're alive, we don't think I already have a perception that I didn't think we would get along well, right? So even when her spirits come to me still in a form of her previous shape, which I would have, it's ghost, right? If you still remain ghost in the shape that before you die, the chances is you still hang on to something before your death. You still hang on to that. So, but anyway, so working through the slideshow, and then I'm continuous having this lady try to give me suggestion, or telling me this, telling me that. You know how that would drive me crazy sometimes, right? So what's so funny is when she's alive, I thought she was really quiet because I never talked to her once, but now she's kind of passed away, she talk a lot. So to a point that I was working on, I was talking to her, I got to know her in a different perspective. Does that make sense? Like, because I guess when I first saw her, I saw her in like when she's older, right? I already have a perception of what in-law supposed to be like or something. But while working through her photo, I saw her childhood, I saw her grow up, I can feel the emotion in the photo, and I knew somewhat she was happy before she participated in a lot of things, and she was, I see a different perspective of things. That's what I try to say. Because I see a different perspective of things, with me, I like to use that idea to apply with a lot of things, like myself, for example, or my mom, or my in-law, right? So, you know, to a point, I suggested to my husband saying, I think you should do one of those tribute for your mom as well. But you guys all know my mother-in-law also suffering through cancer too, right? So right away, that suggestion just didn't come out right. You know, based on the history or something, my husband thought, you know, that was, people were taking it the wrong way, you know. And then I started to think, well, not really, because if it was me, you know, because when I was editing her photo, right, people only go through all those photos when someone passed away. But when I was editing through the photo, I keep having this image and like, how nice if I would be able to clip some video. Not a video of them enjoying this and that, of course, but how about some video that I can just talk to people about death, right? Like how would they like their funeral? Like what would they like to say if that day really happened? Like, you know what I mean? Like I have a little clip there, so when we actually play in the video, you feel like the person is present with us. I don't know if you know what I mean. At least I feel that's something that I would like to do, right? But you cannot do that unless someone's alive. Right? I can interview this ghost to you, but like no video can record in that, right? So because of that, I keep digging, keep thinking, try to think how different people would accept this idea, right? That's the moment I start to realize how this society prevent us from talking about death. You know what I try to say here, right? Like, you know, I cannot propose this idea without people take it the wrong way, right? It might be the beginning. I just simply wanna get to know someone better, right? I simply wanna know how you like to be done. Like, you know, now I'm talking to the spirits about what music would you like, and then we even had debate. You know, she even would crown me as the rudest person she ever known. Right? But yet she's still hanging around with me. I said, well, if I'm the rudest, you would not still be here. You know what I mean? Right? But here I am talking to a spirit. Why I think, you know, we could have used those chance to talk to them when they're alive. You know what I mean? Like I can talk to you about what music would you want to play? Really? What kind of decoration would you like? Where do you want to have it? You know, like how would you like to have it? Or, you know, is there anything you would like to say? So anyway, come to this point that I realize how people are afraid to talk about death. That's why I really, you know, I don't know, I really want to talk about death. You know, the reason I talk about death is you guys follow me for so many episodes. You must come to this point and understand that's just a process. It's just like birth, right? We celebrate death. You know, there's no reason why we treat death like something so forbidden. Like we just should not talk about it. It's like a curse once we talk about it. You know what I mean, right? So even like till this day, you know, friends will still suspect like, oh, you know, maybe the mother is still suffering, or is she, you know, clueless? Is she some, you know, this and that, right? Because it's called perception. Perception is we never got introduced what's going to happen after we die. So what happened is we start thinking they must still be suffering. The first day I check on her, she's already happy, like she no longer have all the pain with her, right? She's detaching from the body and she's not feeling that pain, right? So, you know, even now he would feel like maybe she is still, you know, in limbo and doesn't know what to do, you know, even though I already say, no, she's have a higher spirit right next to her, you know, right on the day. You know, she's guided. She just doesn't want to move on yet, right? Because she want to see her own funeral, right? So, you know, what I'm saying is, I would say most of the time, majority of the time, in normal cases, if, you know, people die, they are most likely okay. most likely okay is, they might going through the process of being ghosts because they hang on to whatever their story. The more they let go of that story of what happened before they die, they tend to become younger, stronger, or to the form that they like themselves, or they even would totally give up of the form and become an existence of light, right? That's the moment they can decide if they want to move on to the white light, like past the white light, and go through the whole process and becoming a soul, a spirit, or higher spirits who have greater understanding of their being, right? Higher self, or anyway, that's what I try to say. So the process after that is very standard for me, at least for standard. It's a matter of time, but it's very standard. Eventually they will evolve, but the time depends on how they can let go of the identity they had before they died, right? Another time they hang on in that zone, in that dimension as a ghost, is because they are still clinging to the emotion, like emotion people feel for them, right? Like they feel sad and therefore they cannot quite go, or if they feel sorry, or they feel whatever, therefore those emotions, which I also mentioned before, is exactly what keeping them here. Like, don't go because I don't want you to go. Really, that's what we're trying to say to them. Now, like, what, I understand it come to the end, and I wish all the best. I wish all the best because, I always talk about, right, those blessings, we human may or may not need it, but they do, right? They can carry that blessing and make them feel more courageous, make them feel stronger as a soul, and then they can carry that. Hopefully, they can use that as a string in whatever life they choose to be next life, right? So, because of that, because I was working through this, have a new perspective of thing, and then feel a little bit pity. People are so avoided of talking about death, right? There's also the other case, friends brought up to my attention and saying, oh, she have that sense too, like, she feel a little boy was coming to her and want her to tell his mom, like he's okay. It was the reason he died when he was 9 months, pretty young. It's all planned, it's all his life plan, and then he doesn't want his mom to live in guilt, right? So this is also another thing I want to talk about. Like why later on, express it to the mother. Mother was in tears and then feel like, yes, she was always living in fear, like in guilt. So what I want to talk about this is also another thing. Like throughout the years, I had a lot of people come to me. They might lost their child. Some, in this case, it's very unfortunate. Kids was born and then was several months old. You have that kind of bonding. Not only when they're in stomach, you also have that bonding with them. It's hard for a mother to feel that, right? Because the first thing we do is take on responsibility. It's my fault that I didn't take care of my kids, right? But aside from this, I also deal with a lot of clients who deal with miscarriage. Like miscarriage, they have a baby, but in their stomach, they lose it. Or even there are child who was, passed away in the first day or 2 days, right? Oh, very young. So, throughout the years, I deal with a lot of cases like this, But what ended up happening is what I realized how people feel guilt. It's almost a natural instinct because we as a parent feel taking care of the kids is our responsibility. If anything happened to kids, whether it's cold, flu, stomach flu, or anything, we cannot help but feel guilty. Feel guilty like it's because I didn't watch out for them. I didn't do what I'm supposed to do for them. That's why they had to suffer through. And I believe a lot of parents out there probably like me, right? We wish we could be the one who suffer for them, right? So watching them suffering is actually harder, right? So the reason I want to talk about this is I hope one day I can come back and talk about this. It is planned. I mean, throughout the year, I have people ask me, why do they die, right? What's their purpose of life? They only have 1 day of life. What do they learn if they just 1 day? right, are living? Or what do they learn if they only live for a month and then die? How about those lives they doesn't even have a chance to be born in our, what's their plan, right? The thing is, there is they're part of plan. They may be experiencing what it's like, experiencing that connection, that bonding, even when they're in your stomach, experiencing what it's like to be born in a new world, something to looking forward to, experiencing what is this earth. Maybe they've never been born in this planet before and they want to know what it's like. You don't know. That's their plan. But a lot of time, I think it's not just their task to work on, it's the parents, right? Yes, we will experiencing the guilt. Same thing as, that is exactly same guilt as those who had that guilt after someone passed away, not just baby. You know what? Like someone passed away, we feel like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. You know what I mean? So that guilt is part of process. It's almost a test that we all have to learn somewhere, sometime in life, right? It's to learn to be coping with that guilt and understanding, life happen for a reason. Things happen for a reason. So learning to let go, eventually you will understand. Let go of that guilt, right? And then only when you once able to let go of that guilt, you were able to look at your life and then think, how can I never put myself in that position again? How can I cherish my present, my moment of now, and really live it so one day I will not feel sorry again? You know what I mean? So it is a lesson, right? It's not an easy lesson, really, but it is a lesson. But most of the time, I say it's a lesson for one that's still living, right? So, what I really want to say is, I just really want to talk about it because that's people I'm dealing with all the time. If I want to talk about this, I can talk about this forever, but I don't want to bore you guys to death. But what I really want to say is, death is just a process of life, exactly like birth. It's exactly like birth, right? One thing I can guarantee saying is, no dead people want you to suffer rest of your life in guilt. No dead people. No matter what relationship you are, no matter what kind of strain, no matter what it is, no matter what you think, I should have done more, but I didn't. Yeah, they might hold on to that grouch when they're still in ghost form, but I already say it. How long were they stuck in ghost form? Not so long, right? Eventually they will evolve. Once they evolve, they understand their task and they understand your task, right? What do they want? They want you to suffer? No one, even you will know. If one day I die, would I want my loved one to suffer, right? Now, if I'm angry at them, right, I might say yes, but a couple days later, do I still want them to suffer, right? It's the same thing as like this friend's mother, for example. It was kind of funny. It was funny for me because I say, oh, no, I want everyone to smile at the end of tribute. So I want to use the song Smile. And the mother, this person say, no, I want everybody to cry. And then, because I know it's been a week, right? You don't really think that. So I'm looking at her, I say, no, you don't. No, that's not really what you want. So I asking her back. And then the second time she's already feel a little bit guilty by saying yes. She say, so she's already hesitant and say, yes, I do. And then when I ask again, say, no, you don't. That's not really what you want, right? When I asked the same question third time, she was quiet. You know what I mean? She was quiet because she know better. So what I try to say is, no matter, what kind of person, you might lose a child that you might lose someone someone, I don't care, child or friends or beloved one or things like that. You might feel guilty. I wish I could have done something, right? And then you have that guilt claim your ownership of you. What I hear really, really want to say is, really, no dead people want you to suffer rest of your life in guilt. No one. No soul will stand by that. No if they are no more soul, yeah, let's put it this way. If they are no more soul, no one wants you to suffer like this. No matter what you think you did, what you think you did not do, right? Understand that's your task and then work it. Work it. Because learning to let it go, learning to appreciate your moment, learning to appreciate now, so you don't put yourself back in the same situation feeling sorry, I wish I could have done this. It's also a task for us who's still living to learn. So, I really wish one day, I'm able to introduce more and we can talk about death. Talk about death not like it's something evil, not like it is, it is a curse or something, but really talk about it just like it's part of our life. It's part of our life. It's part of our journey anyway. So anyway, it's very random talk. It's just because this weekend got a lot of things going through my head. Monday, I really don't know which one I should just bring it down and talk about it. But, I just really hope I can bring to awareness and people can kind of think about it, right? I mean, it's bad to say, but if it were me, I would like to participate in my own funeral if I can, right? If I have a chance, if I was given a chance to. So anyway, again, hope that's not too heavy topic for everybody. But again, if you like what I'm doing, join me live in Periscope or go to my Facebook or subscribe my YouTube channel or go to my website, ruowen.com. Till then, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we can talk about something easier. Bye.